Hey guys, Tyrup here, bringing you a 1v1 today. We are on Faymonville approach. Play today spawning on the left, we have Blackwing as Ostheer, who has Jaeger infantry, mechanized assault, and assault support. On the right hand side, we have StefanTheConqueror, playing his US forces, instantly going for urban assault. In terms of rankings here, Blackwing pretty much bang on 100 and Stefan 110. So very close matchup between these two. Looks like Stefan trying to go for like a 2 rifle tech here. He's going to make a dash for the cutoff. G coming down from the position up here. Well, Stefan missing the tech timing here horribly. If you're going to go for a 2 squad tech like this, you need to be sharper on those timings. I can understand, you know, if you miss timings, especially when there's like a lot of fighting going on, and then you realize, oh, at the end of the fight, okay, I need to get some stuff building, but it wasn't that much action. Make a big difference. Good engagement though for the riflemen, nice heavy cover positions. Slightly awkward. Somehow not showing up as in heavy cover, despite being right there. MG facing this direction. Looks like Blackwing doesn't have a read that he's only up against 2 squads. So still watching out for a flank or something like that. Rifleman repositioning. Here comes the rear echelon. And now finally machine gun going to spin around, but a little bit overdue. He's trying to push in, but I think the riflemen do still have some nice heavy cover there. Ambulance now for Stefan. Yeah, a bit of a rough start for Blackwing. Definitely should have had a much better map control, considering he's up against 2 riflemen and a rear echelon. So the engagement's not really working out too well for him. Maybe should have brought that machine gun in earlier. Not fighting the best in terms of his cover positioning as well. So a pretty smooth start for Stefan. He's at the moment taking the mechanized on the lieutenant. Could go pretty much straight into an M20 once that completes. I'm not choosing to do so. If you aren't pushing straight into a light vehicle, probably better off to, you know, I imagine build a 50 cal is what he wants to do. Might as well build that before starting the tech, where you just have more units on the field earlier.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
This Grenadier wins the race to the building, and this engagement ends up going quite poorly for Stefan. Good wire off on this cover. That's a very important piece of cover to wire off in both directions. On the riflemen, they do have access to the incendiary grenades, but not relevant. LG Greens chased off the lieutenant. They actually got dangerously low.
We have a new scout car.
So things are starting to fall apart a little bit here for Stefan. Just floating too many resources throughout the match so far. Should have a much larger lead. And this is actually a very good timing on the 222 now for Blackwing. Stefan still about 10 fuel away from the Stuart. He's gone for a mortar, which is, you know, a pretty good option on this map, especially if there's a machine gun camped in that central building. Can be hard to deal with otherwise. But I think personally I would still have got a machine gun before going for the mortar. Just give yourself a bit more field presence. You can actually maybe leave the mortar set up in place. Don't constantly get forced away. 222, only doing a little bit of damage there, then backing right the way off. Do have a pack in construction for Blackwing. Stuart's starting up now. Pretty reasonable timing on that for Stefan. Looks like he pretty much could have afforded a 50 cal on top of all this as well. Good to jump out of the building away from the mortar. There you go, the rear echelon. Can pay to get some sweepers on those at this stage as well. Stuart to be running over a bunch of mines, and the pies were up here for a long time. Could have been like a whole bunch of telemines up here. So the early sweepers, the earlier you have a chance of spotting one of those. Super pops on the lieutenant and connects first shot. The LNG Grenadier is going to try and make their way into the building. Can still with the 222 try and play that range advantage you have over the Bazooka squad if you're confident with your light vehicle control. Looks like Blackwing might not be. T-gun nearby. Oh wow, okay, Rangers. Not a, okay, that's where he's investing his manpower into. Reasonable. So we're heading up to the north. The pack's still nearby. Could come through here, get a nice angle. He's set all the way back up there. No damage done on those pyres. At the moment, Blackwing playing very spread out. He's going to need to concentrate his forces because he can't play that safely when he's far away from his AT gun. It would also be nice if he could crush some of these fences so his AT gun can rotate through here more easily. Be a bit of an issue on this map, rotating your anti-tank gun from side to side if you don't crush through all these fences around here. Close the distance for the AT grenade, but good control from Blackwing. I feel like he could have done quite a lot more damage with his 222, however. Here comes the Stuart. Pack setting up. Spinning around now. Stuart coming around the long way away from the pack. But good defenses there by Blackwing, but at the moment he is really struggling for territory control. Decided to go for a Panzer Grenadier. So far hasn't done too much. We have the sweepers up here for Stefan, nice to see. So knows that this area is free of telemines, can be a bit more aggressive for the Stuart now.
A capture point is under a supply line just got cut off.
Once again, big spread on all the units for Blackwing. Ooh, that was a nasty hit from the Stuart. Nearly one-shotting that rifle. I mean, Grenadier. Stuart does have a damage cap on it though, so it can't. It can only do 60 damage. It can't do the full 80 to one-shot infantry models. Stuart hiding behind the building. Good reposition on the Panzer Grenadiers. Rangers here. Another squad coming in. Support. Rangers take up a cover position there. Throw a grenade out. Soft retreating back to the piles, but here comes the lieutenant from the other side, so has to straight up get out of there. So he's maybe going to try go for the building. Ranger's going for the decap on the fuel. Straight out for repairs. Oh wow. Stefan going for an Opel Blitz cargo truck. You don't see these too often. Is he going to set it? I mean, you can set it up like right out the back here or over here. Very safe positions. He's could set it up a lot further back than he has. Going to be boosting up his resources. Also has picked up a mortar.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Don't think the mortar on the Ostheer side is super important. Whoa! What happened to these Rangers? How did they die? There's no rifle nades that I could see. Must have just been a late retreat. Maybe the mortar got a hit? No, the mortar's got barely any vet. Very strange. Okay, now Stefan going for a machine gun. Overall, I'd say both players have been a little bit too inactive with their light vehicles. There's a rifle nade. Good retreat path there. They kind of retreated off, slightly off to the side. And the rifle nade was slightly off to this side, so barely took any damage. Back nearby. You see so far the Panzer Grenadiers, I feel like they've been limited usage, which is why you see most of these tournament games you have mass Grenadiers. You know, if that was a Grenadier, maybe you could threaten to come around the side, go for a Faust on the Stuart, the pack nearby, maybe could have got something going. The Panzer Grenadiers don't have that snare threat, so they're just not as useful. There we go, pack. Connecting once in the Stuarts, currently hiding behind these trees. The mortar actually getting a couple good hits in. Pack facing the wrong direction, spins back around but setting up on the road. Sets up, Stuart taking a shot, very slow backing away with the Stuart. And there it goes. Pack does get decrewed. But yeah, just sitting out there for far too long with Stuart before he started to back away. And it doesn't look like he's going to be able to steal that anti-tank gun either. This heavy cover wall is so strong. It's so hard to push back out from this side. Could maybe consider throwing a Molotov over here or something, but no. Ooh, big hit from the Ostheer mortar. And he's just so low after that, he's just going to lose crazy manpower if he continues to push. I think I would have retreated instantly after that mortar shell had landed. Oh, rifle nade, but it looks like it was slightly forwards on the gun rather than back where the crew was kind of clumped up on that light cover. Maybe could have got the wipe otherwise. So a couple big losses there for Stefan. Stuart and one squad of Rangers. So far Blackwing hasn't lost anything, I believe. He's also got the extra resources coming in from over here, so he's in a good position right now. Bring down his tier 3 tech. You can see that trying to go for all these resources has kind of impacted the build of Blackwing. He's built his tech now, and he's basically like an Opel Blitz truck short of being able to build a tank. So he's feeling it in the manpower department, trying to go for all of these units. MG getting forced away there. Vet 2 on this Ostheer mortar already. He doesn't have any kills, but must be getting some pretty big hits. This mortar not too far behind.
taking our
Hasn't gone
territory.
for pyro flamers at this stage, so probably just be tempted to go straight for the minesweeper. Meanwhile, Stefan
Squad is back to full strength.
has not started his major tech yet. Doesn't have captain done either, so
Mark us for duty.
he's about to be up against a tank. Doesn't have very good defenses.
Weapon rack is now accessible.
But Blackwing prioritizing reinforcing his troops instead of trying to push out a tank, so giving a lot more time for Stefan to respond. And Stefan at the moment with much better map control. He's got a few bars equipped now.
They're coming up on the flank.
I suppose he could always go for some bazooka ranges
We're
as
losing
an
a
anti-tank
capture
option. Not ideal though.
point. Sherman, ready for action.
Slowly losing this 2-on-1. Telemine coming up. I'm pretty sure the rifleman can see it there, but he doesn't care. Maybe the mortar's going to target this now, though. Seems like Stefan needs to be a little bit more active on, once the opponent has dodged slightly away from the mortar shells. Just like restart the attack round or just right click to target them. Still only one bazooka on that squad. And wow, look at this. He goes straight for a Calliope. Targeting the machine gun. No dodge for Blackwing at all. And he ends up losing that machine gun. We do have Grenadiers nearby for the recrew, however. And here comes the P4. Oh, a bunch of S-mines going off. Really costing the Pyros their life. Oh, the Grenadiers go down. What were they doing? That was the squad that recruited the machine gun. How'd they end up there? If they just retreated from here, they would have ran back this direction, right? Okay, well, here we go. Blackwing opening the door for Stefan to make a bit of a comeback with that Grenadier loss. Instantly rebuilding the Grenadier as well. MG upgrades in progress currently. It's this stage if you're Blackwing, it might be worth just starting to spam this strafing run. It does do quite a lot of suppression. Can really lock these units in place. It's not like they're really, really good targets for the frag bombs. So I just want to take a dominant map control situation. Get those planes going. Very slow with this Panzer IV. Took a little bit of damage, like 2 hits from the bazooka, and then backed all the way out. Now coming back in. Have to read what your opponent's done here. They've gone for the Calliope. You haven't seen a captain, so what's really going to be threatening the Panzer IV at this time? You would expect not much. As long as you don't take a engine crit, then you should be fine. The bazookas are not that much of a threat. Good job here. Blackwing preemptively getting out of the building. Eyes up here, so now you should definitely just get the sweepers for the repair speed upgrade. Bazooka's forced away, Panzer IV coming back in. As I was saying though, you've got to make sure you don't take that engine crit. Allow that rifle squad to get too close there. Now the Panzer IV needing to back off, in fact may even be in some trouble. We do have a machine gun coming in though, should be able to cover it from any further bazooka fire. Seeing we're in a bit of trouble here.
The enemy is taking
Okay,
our
we've got another
territory.
squad of Rangers coming in. Doesn't have enough munitions to equip them with anything though. He drops cover to cover over here for some reason. Rangers charging in to the Panzer Grenadiers. Panzer Grenadiers looking for the wipe on the lieutenant. But they give up on it. Grenades exchanged. P-Greens come out on top. They were much higher in health overall. But Stefan keeps everything alive at least. Does not have enough munitions for those bazookas though. Between the cover to cover and then the grenade.
Capture point is being overrun.
Ooh! Good scatter there for Stefan. There you go, the Panzer Grenadiers. Blackwing needs to be more active with these vehicles. I mean, this, with Stefan having so little anti-tank, there should be basically no chance that he should be allowing any map control thanks to these double vehicles. But it's not the case. Though, Blackwing does at least have, about 100 VP lead at this stage. Here come the bazookas again. Pushes back the machine gun. This is the kind of timing where Stefan maybe could be building another tank, so understandable to be a bit more defensive now. But we can see that instead he went for another squad of Rangers. Still haven't seen the Major anywhere either.
We're losing a capture point. 300 points
Might be
remaining.
just about ready to fire again.
Supply line
Rebuild
just
on the
got cut
Grenadiers again from Blackwing. I think I'd just be looking to mass tanks. He just doesn't build this Grenadier, builds another Panzer IV. He's just got a massive army of tanks, and how are 3 bazookas going to stop 3 Panzer IVs? It's just not going to happen.
Supply line just got cut off.
Damage coming in from the Panzer IVs. Engine crit again on this one. Comes a Calliope on the machine gun, perhaps? No, on the mortar. And the AT gun. Decrease the mortar, AT gun dodging forwards. Hanging on. But not by much. Oh, the Grenadiers died up there as well. Was that the brand new squad of Grenadiers? It looks like they went for the recrew on the mortar while the artillery was still falling. And he just instantly loses that green squad. Still hasn't got the sweeper upgrade on these pyros yet. Maybe he's not aware that it gives a repair speed bonus. Doesn't mention it in here. Better repair tools. It does. It's pretty vague though. Yeah, I wouldn't be rebuilding a Grenadier. 3 Grenadiers perfectly acceptable. Don't really need more than that. Even like a second pyro would be a better option just to make sure all your vehicles are repaired up very quickly whenever they take damage, so you can just completely overwhelm Stefan.
Change of plans. Crowds are sniffing around our asses. Tactical point being captured.
They just do a chunk of damage to the Rangers there.
Our supply line just
But
got
overall,
cut
look
off.
at this map control for Stefan. So he's finally investing into his tech. Nope, cancelled it. Nope, restarts it. Okay. Grenadiers hard retreating there. So much munitions though. Do have the option of just like coming out to the side, popping a green med kit, sending a squad up, maybe up around this way while the healing is active. If you're floating a lot of munitions like this, might as well use green med kits on your Grenadiers that are still at 4 models, but half healthish. Try and maintain a bit more field presence. It's also getting some decent damage done now. Comes the Calliope again. Might even knock out the 2-2-2 there. Almost catching the Pios. Does indeed build a second squad of Pios now. I don't know, you know, Blackwing. Oof. Big hit there. Did end up building that Opal Blitz, but you can see that it hasn't really helped him the entire game. He's been floating a huge amount of munitions the entire match, and his Panzer IV ended up coming out later, and he's always been floating fuel, so he could have built more tanks. So this cargo truck really hasn't done anything for him except slow him down, which is why you basically never see these in 1v1s. Look at this Blackwing on the back foot massively. This Calliope barrage is just continuously hurting him for map control.
A capture point is being overrun.
Jumping into the building now with the LMG Grenadiers. Lieutenant doesn't get access to the incendiary device, so can't flush them out of that building. I don't think we've seen any of those thrown by Stefan though. There have been a few opportunities. Does have a few bazookas now. Triple bazookas now, okay, on the Rangers, so they are quite formidable in the anti-tank. And neither of the Panzer IVs have actually got to Vet yet. Neither of them are Vet 2. So they don't have any extra armor. So those elite bazookas are going to be very effective against them. Panzer IV rolling in. Again, no, you got to be careful not to get too close. Don't want to put yourself in snare range. Something you need to work on with your vehicle control. And somehow on the back of the Stefan, nice map control situation. Ooh, the retreat kind of made that Calliope barrage worse, honestly. Both of those squads do end up surviving. Did end up getting a flamethrower on this squad very late.
We're losing a capture point.
I mean, you don't need the minesweeper against US forces generally. They don't plant many mines. But the PSP boost is quite nice. That squad was, you know, on the field since the start of the game. Already pretty close to Vet 2 with their PSP bonus, so you don't really need extra veterancy from combat on it to get that repair speed boost either. I think Blackwing may be getting a bit tunnel vision, trying to contest the center as well. You know, he's got the massive mobility advantage with these double tanks. You can exploit that by playing on the flanks, but instead he just continues to play through the center. Oh, that's good. Good use of the green med kits. And he's doing himself a disservice. You know, he's kind of clumping up a bit more for the Calliope to get some big barrages. Making it easy for the bazookas to be in position. And now we've got a Jackson out for Stefan.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
The Grenadiers coming in. I've put RV 3. Okay, there goes the bundle grenade though. Into the retreat path. And that was nicely done by Blackwing. Throwing it into the retreat path. That was a good timing to throw it. You could see Stefan has stopped paying attention. Heard the grenade warning probably, maybe from the other side of the map. Hit retreats and ran right into it. Very good execution there from Blackwing. A if you're Stefan, though, you have to be just like straight up watching that engagement, because the pea greens are really going to struggle to win the fight if they don't throw a grenade. So they're going to throw a grenade. It's just a matter of when. That coming in. Bazooka's getting softened up by the Panzer IV. Oh, one of them on the ground. Oh, Grenadiers go down up there, though, to the Rangers. Meanwhile, the 50 cal about to get decrewed here. And completely destroyed. Weapon must have been too badly damaged. Smoke on the pack, and here come the Rangers. Too threatening. Blackwing having to back out. Nice long range shot in there by the Jackson. Return fire from the pack missing. Branching out to the far side with the Panzer Grenadiers. I think that's a pretty good idea. And this is a reasonable time to rebuild Grenadiers, I think. Though also you could just try and save up, I do think. Nope. Saw Battle Phase 3 coming through? No, maybe not. So VP's much closer to even now. Blackwing has been struggling. Calliope's really been forcing them off, especially through the centre. Use of the smoke here from Stefan as he makes his assault through the centre. He does have much better close range overall, so smoke is massively to his advantage. Comes the Calliope. Up the back, targeting the mortar again. Pack kind of running into it. Scatter quite far from that side though. Does end up doing a bit of damage to the tanks though, and that hits Vet 2 on the Calliope now. So it's going to be cooling down even faster. P4 is coming in. For the Rangers. Rangers shooting their bazookas at the Pios. Controlled. With the Jackson back there now. No repairs required. Seems like Blackwing may be having trouble controlling both of his tanks independently also. Ideally you'd have them on two separate control groups. It does make it easy to control in these kind of situations. There's the re-echelon bazookas. Pack is nearby. Maybe just out of range of the Jackson though, and both bazookas actually penetrating. So Panzer IV has to back out after that. A lot of repairs now. Good one down here for Blackwing. Capping up in the north now as well. Both players with quite a lot of munitions. Could be a good time for Stefan to maybe get some grenade tech as well if you got this much munitions in reserve. No, he's only got 2 squads that can throw the HE grenades at least, but you know, he's got the re-echelon for the smoke as well. Could be pretty handy. Might be targeting the mortar again. Determined to knock it out. Lucky break, the mortar does end up surviving. Well, I'd say it's probably expected. Did get very low. Bazooka's connecting there on the Panzer IV. Grenadiers coming in from the side. Grenadiers dying up in the north here. Dropped their LMG as well. Maybe Blackwing wasn't paying attention and the Rangers take him out. Get a squad over there to pick up that LMG, that would be huge. Rifleman managed to get it though. I think if I was Blackwing there, I'd probably go for the Faust on the Jackson. It's not much of a crush threat, and then you put it within range that another Grenadier can Faust it. So Stefan would have to consider pulling back, repairing before continuing on whatever he does, giving Blackwing some time to get aggressive in the meantime. If you've got, like, you know, a lot of munitions in reserve, you can afford those kind of plays. Maybe slightly wasteful Fausts. Looks like Blackwing getting a bit better dodging these Calliope barrages now. Faster reactions, so they're not as effective anymore. That has slowed down Stefan quite a lot. You can definitely see some of the impact of trying to rely on bazookas as one of your main sources of anti-tank that just leads to such a horrendous KD. So every time you're doing damage to the enemy's tank, you're taking manpower damage in return. Dodge on the grenade. Whereas with anti-tank guns, you know, since they're firing from 60 range, you typically don't take any manpower damage. Jackson repositioning, took a shot from the pack now. Lucas trying to close in, going for some attack rounds there, I think, hoping for the long-range scatter.
The capture point is being overrun.
Major over here. I'm surprised he doesn't drop the artillery down straight away. Trying to slow down the rate at which he's losing victory points right now. Good damage in there from the bazookas. Popping cover to cover. I guess smoking out the machine gun, but the lieutenant still ends up getting suppressed. And since it's under Panzer IV fire, going to be very slow coming out of that suppression. LG Grenadiers coming around the corner. Could be a wipe here. Calliope coming down in the centre. Not hitting too much though. Oh, there we go. Actually ends up killing the machine gun late in the barrage. That was the vetted RPG going down. Now I've got a Sherman out for Stefan. Do have the option of the Dozer Blade, and he's going to go for it. Both of the upgrades. Does make it a lot more formidable, especially up against the already skirted up Panzer IVs. Having the extra armor from that Dozer Blade and extra health. Just make it a lot easier to go head to head with the Vet 2 Panzer IV. Going down to the south, he has switched over to high explosive already. Looking for a wipe here. Looks like Stefan got to make a bit of a move down the south. Blackwing just content to hold his territory at the moment. Sit behind the heavy cover. One thing we haven't really seen from Blackwing either is any mines. Okay, just as I say that, I can tell a mine. He's got some S mines. That's actually really good. S mines up there. Talamines coming down now.
The enemy is overrunning
Very good idea.
Points. We're down to 75.
Okay, here we go. Stefan coming in from the south. T-gun facing the wrong direction at the moment. Blackwing does have, you know, a little bit of a vulnerability in terms of anti-tank. 2 Panzer IVs and the pack. If he loses the pack to the Calliope, all of a sudden he's in some really big trouble for anti-armor.
The capture point is being overrun.
So that is the path to victory for Stefan, knocking out the pack and then getting it going with the vehicles. Calliope doesn't quite get the wipe. Okay, here we go. Sherman's still on high explosive though. Pack facing the wrong direction. Jackson is there.
We're losing a capture point.
And the Rangers, they got the bazookas. Missing that shot with the Jackson though. Stefan making it happen here, pushing in. MG Grandy's coming in from the side. Panzer IV's both pretty healthy. Coming back in, but the Jackson's back there, bouncing actually. Very rare. Sherman coming around the side, forcing away the Grenadiers. And here we go, Stefan ultimately making a pretty decent push there. And gaining control of the VPs, down to just 54 now. Sherman rolling in, popping down some smoke on the pack. Pack setting up now, trying to get out of there. Blackwing, he's done this a few times. Instead of reversing with the AT gun, turning it around to run away. Gotta make sure you're a bit sharper on that. Gotta get those reverse commands going. Okay, mine detected by the rear echelon. So they're going to go for the sweep on it, but there are still some S-mines up here. Might not have noticed those yet. Full retreat in the center for Stefan. Oh, spotted one.
A capture point is
Looks
under
like most of the S-mines are off to this side though. Clear path down here, so we can start capping. Glipey into the base area and get a bit of damage done. Be a bit of a waste of this timing though.
Good fucking hit.
Do remember you can call in the major recon pass to help you do some spotting. Don't have to fire blindly into the base like that unless it's, you know a whole bunch of stuff is retreated there and you know it's going to be a good barrage.
Area secured. That was too easy. That's done. Target secure. Ready to
So
go,
Blackwing branching out now down to the south
capture
again.
point is under attack.
Get the double cap going. Stefan pretty close, could maybe field another tank even if he goes for the decrew trick. And that could be just about enough to completely overwhelm Blackwing. Blackwing though has been stalling up enough resources to call in a Tiger. It doesn't have the pop cap room for it, but could just call it in whenever he loses something. Rifle nade gets blocked by the building though. Good telemine. There's a couple of them not quite behind the heavy cover. Okay, here we go. Sherman rolling forwards. Big shot from the Sherman. Double Panzer IVs are there though. So is the Jackson. Bazooka Rangers focused on these squads instead. Pack coming forwards. Connecting. Faust's going to go for the Sherman though. No, cancels that. Going to go for the Jackson now. It's the engine crit. Pack just blasting away, but here comes the Calliope. Going after the support weapons again. Not the Pack, going after the mortar. Panzer IV's rolling forwards. This one popping the blitz. Okay, initial focus fire on the Jackson, that's a good idea. Now turning attention onto the Sherman. Couple of bazookas coming in, one of the Panzer IVs does go down. Panzer IV backing away. Sherman bouncing. Surviving though. And that frees up the pop cap. In comes the Tiger. Pyro squad though goes down to the Rangers. And the mortar did end up getting killed. So Blackwing taking a lot of infantry losses.
That's it. Keep it coming.
Let's see what this Tiger can do though. Again, this is maybe a situation where you could just drop the planes around here. Try to lock down the territory control. Cover to cover, try and do some capping down here. The Rangers.
We just lost a unit.
Tossing out a few grenades. Lieutenant goes down to the P-Greens, however. Back decrewed out the back. Rebuild on the Jackson for Stefan. Not here yet though, 36 V piece, but still holding the center. Calliope about ready to fire again as well.
A capture point is being overrun.
Here it comes.
Smoke strike can be delivered to cover our men.
Tiger getting a few pretty chunky hits in, but has lost a bit of health itself. He's getting quite aggressive for them now. Don't want to be too aggressive. Still have those bazooka ranges to contend with, and you have to be expecting a rebuild on the Jackson. And there it is. It would pay for one of these squads just to make a dash up to the north. Probably send the Panzer Grenadiers up there just to cap that point. So you're so close to the VP victory, and we can see that Stefan doesn't really have anything in that area to defend. So just like one lone squad would be very successful.
Point is under attack.
Coming forwards, hoping for some damage. Did end up getting the sweepers on this pyro. Don't know if he's noticed this bazooka down here, but it's a pretty good idea to pick up the bazooka with your pioneers. Easy vet for them. The Rangers are going to recover it. Calliope just about ready to fire again. Raid out. Blackwing holding on to the center. Points are draining from Stefan again. Smoke coming out. Tiger trying to do some attack rounds into it. Trying to deal with these Rangers. There we go. Big connections on the Panzer IV. Calliope coming out. I think targeting the machine gun. Rangers drop their bazooka again. A lot of damage onto the Tiger though. Jackson going hunting now. Long line of sight thanks to that major there. Can't attack round through there, attempting it unsuccessfully though. Points are very low. Just turns attention to the southern VP, but we've got a Grenadier down here looking to jam the capture. Pack's up here. Getting a few hits in now. Oh boy, big hits on the Grenadiers. They could go down now. Maybe the smoke could work out though. Oh boy, Grenadiers hanging on by a thread, but major artillery's coming in out the back. Grenadiers dance their way through it. But imagine if he just sent like that one squad to the north. This game would be over by now, but Blackwing not able to do so. So he's heading up there now. A lot of repairs though. Gonna go into double time while there's a lot of repairs going on.
The Krauts are at 200 points.
Alright.
We're losing a capture point.
Again, you can see this. Again, not reversing with the anti-tank gun, spinning it around. Something Blackwing really needs to work on. As for making a bit of a circle there, but you need to stay up there and force away the rifleman. Calliope barrage, but the machine gun gonna survive that. Jackson back up to full strength, ready to get it going. Pack can't be too isolated. I think it just has to play through the center, be close to wherever you expect the Jackson to be. Which probably wouldn't be pushing like super far into this side, and even if it does, you can probably bring your pack through this angle to shoot at it. Don't have to bring it all the way around here. Another Sherman now for Stefan. Again, sending the pack around, facing the wrong direction. And down it goes. Rifleman with the LMG and the bar, very powerful there. Grenadier's dropping LMG. I don't think he lost a squad. Maybe he had an extra one from somewhere else. Should try to recover that. Okay, Tiger back up to full strength, but look at this map control for Stefan. Recrewing the pack. Damage in there from the Sherman.
We're losing a capture point.
And now it's going to be much harder to go for like an isolated camp with that second Sherman on the field. It's going to really stop Blackwing from being able to go for those lone squad caps on the far sides. Big damage on the Tiger straight away. Dropping the anti-infantry planes down here in the south. Get some pins going. Getting down here. Spinning around now for the other Sherman. There's a Calliope. Into the base again. This one actually, there's a lot of troops back there. It could be devastating. As before, making a bit of a move. Okay, quite far forwards, exposing itself to the Rangers. Tiger, meanwhile, getting very low. Major artillery coming down. And there we go, pack decrewed. Now Blackwing doesn't have an answer to the Jackson. Jackson is a little bit low in health though. Tiger going to expose its rear armor. And before doing its best to apply some bleed. And there goes the pack. Stefan just doesn't even want it on the field. And Blackwing backing all the way off. Major going for the cap. Rebuild on the mortar, Blackwing? What are you doing, man? What are you doing? Oh, this is the last thing you should be building right now. I do not understand. Rebuild on the pack, building a Stug or something. Need some extra anti-tank to deal with the Jackson and the double Shermans. What is the mortar going to do except be cannon fodder? For the Calliope, up to 50 kills now, by the way. Nice use of the dozer blades, building up that mound of dirt to use as cover. And look at how effective it is. Working very nicely. All coming through the center, but Bazookas and Jackson there, and Blackwing just going to throw in the towel like that. No fighting spirit. And he's definitely still in a position where he could win this game. Just need to catch one of these tanks out of position. He's got enough victory points to make something happen here, but oh boy, this was Blackwing's game to lose basically the entire match. Don't want to be too unkind to him, but definitely should have been able to close this one out. But yeah, at the mid game for Blackwing, you know, he had so many resources. He was up against, at one stage, just one Bazooka Lieutenant, I believe, with 2 Panzer IVs. And somehow he just didn't manage to close the show then. Stefan was still so far away from any meaningful form of anti-tank. But, you know, he maybe took like 1 or 2 Panzer IV shots, then just got cold feet, backed off for repairs, which were quite slow because he didn't have the sweeper upgrade at that stage. You need to press your advantage when you have an edge like that. You know, you saw that they've gone for the Calliope. You know that they're vulnerable to your tanks and didn't press the advantage then. Putting a 4th Grenadier instead of like a 3rd Panzer IV, which would have just completely overwhelmed Stefan. And yeah, in the end, Stefan able to close it out with some pretty good Jackson play. Blackwing getting a little bit reckless with the pack positioning. And yeah, just maybe Blackwing needs to open up his field of view a bit. You know, he's constantly running down the center for a huge portion of this game, ignoring the sides. He would have had an easy VP win if he had just focused a bit more off to those angles. and made it a lot easier for the Calliope. Just had to point in this direction and fire here pretty much the entire game, and would always have some good results. So yeah, GG, well done by Stefan, able to close this one out, but this is definitely not a build order I would recommend. Easily should have got overwhelmed and lost the game. Blackwing maybe needs to be a bit more Munis happy as well, just popping down these loiters all the time, dropping this down on just anything you can spot, really. No excuse to be floating 500 munitions. He was making good enough use of the rifle nades and getting a few mines down, but might as well spam those off maps as well. And you can see the pitfalls of going for the Opel Blitz. Delayed his Panzer IV. He was never hurting for munitions or fuel control the entire game. Just really a waste of manpower, honestly. Well, anyway, guys, wrap on that. If you like good game to be cast by me, details are in the video description below. Otherwise, I'll catch you off the next thrilling installment. Goodbye and good luck.